Well, today is Friday, October 22nd, 2010, and it's been a year since I did my first video chronicling the work on my Mad Max Interceptor car, and I wanted to get the rear axle out of it so that I could do this one today. It's kind of a stopping point because unfortunately I had too much life happen and I'm not going to be able to get the thing stripped and in primer the way I wanted to this year. So that's the way that goes. But anyways, thanks to everybody that gave me suggestions of how to get the bolt out of the eye of the leaf spring. What I ended up having to do was putting a disc, a cutoff disc, on a grinder and cut the head of the bolt off. And I couldn't get the wheel even with the bolt because of the arbor hitting the bottom of the frame. So I had to cut the head off on an angle and then just grind the rest of it off. And then drove it out with an air hammer, and there you go. So anyways, today I'm going to show you some of the underneath of the vehicle and also the trunk, which is a big problem on these cars, the whole back end. A lot of these cars, a lot of percentage of the body is pretty high rust, but this car happened to be pretty good. It's from, not from right along the coast of Australia. I'll have the name of the city for you next time. I know what the name of the city is, or at least I have it written down somewhere, and I'll have to come up with that name for you, exactly where my car came from. So I'm going to pick up the camera and show you the back end of the car and some underneath images. So here's the underneath of the car. And you can see it's really not too bad. Let me try lightening up. Now along the trunk, the lip of the trunk where the fuel tank goes, is a big rust area problem on these cars, but mine's pretty good again. Real happy about that. And in the trunk, you know, maybe you can't. We're pretty good in here. So that's about all that I have to show you now, other than what the car looked like without the axle being in there. And that's something I've been wanting to see for a long time. And maybe I'll compare how this looks now with the way it was when I started, because we also have the front suspension out. And that's where we're going to be at for the winter here in Ohio. What I'm going to be working on this winter is I have some tubular steel, and I'm going to be making a cart to go underneath this vehicle in order to hold the thing up. I can roll it around and whatnot. I have flip-flopped yet again on what I'm going to do with the vehicle. I'm going to take it to have part of it sandblasted now. Saw somebody else's project, and I think that's going to be the best way for me. I feel like John Kerry, and for the Australians, John Kerry is a politician here, ran for president some years ago, and he had a problem with flip-flopping on issues. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to have it sandblasted, but they're only going to sandblast the parts that are really contoured, like the engine compartment and the underneath of the car and inside the trunk and the passenger compartment. But when it comes to these broad panels here, you know, the quarter panel and the roof, I'm going to do that. I'm going to strip all that myself. Save some cost on the sandblasting, and that's the latest plan. Tune in next time to see if there's a new plan. But anyways, for the cart that I'm going to be building for this, it's going to be able to roll around, and I got these really nice wheels at a flea market, and that's exactly what the guy that was selling these was using them for. They're all casters, they all have locks, and they're all really heavy-duty, sturdy cast aluminum rims on them and everything. So that's what I've got planned for this winter.
And here I was telling you that I was going to show you the outtakes from all the videos that I've made over the past year, but I have not been able to find some of the footage, and that is what has delayed this video so long. So as soon as I find that footage, I am going to put it together for you, and we'll have that in a future video. Sorry couldn't have it on this one. Sorry for the delay.
And of course there's other things that happen too, and you can tell I'm not highly polished making these things because this is just home movies basically, so something I thought everybody or a lot of people would want to see, and also something I can look back on and maybe even show at car shows and cruises when I have the car there.